Hello everyone and welcome to Laurence Plays for your weekly burst of Factorio space exploration. And at the end of the last stream, well, I was on my way out to Realm of Shadows in order to do some upgrades out there because there were a few things wrong, shall we say. So, on my way out there, the first thing is to put, well, how far away am I? That's the first question. Oh, 3.5 minutes. Okay, that's a fair distance, so I've got time to talk about stuff. I'm running around, I'm slightly short of breath, so I just ran downstairs. I thought, I know, I'll grab myself a piece of birthday cake and some Coke before the stream starts. And I didn't really, and there was only and I only thought this 2 minutes early, 2 minutes before it started. So yes, up here we have an area of crushers that need to be built up and put into place and so on to make sure to get this producing the crushed naquitite a bit faster, so we can load up these spaceships a bit faster. And by load them up a bit faster, and basically I mean I want when this one of these ships arrives, I want these boxes to already be full, so it can just go dump straight across and fill it all up really quickly, and that should hopefully speed up the rate it's being brought across, and maybe if I'm really lucky, it'll solve some of my problems with production of Naquium and so on. Hello everyone, welcome Peter. Yes, it's which is not. I'd say it felt a bit chilly earlier today, but no, it's not. It feels quite nice now actually, and I'd definitely say not miserable. It's there's a bit of cloud out there, but basically it's okay. And no, not my birthday. Actually, not anyone's birthday. Technically, it was a half birthday. Hey Mike, welcome to the stream, and Calson, welcome as well. Thanks for joining. So yes, this needs to be sped up a bit. So that was the first thing on my list. The next thing on the list was this system I was working on most of. Oh, and Dragor and Tristan, welcome as well. Thank you for being here. So the other thing that is problematic is over here. Well, there's two reasons it's problematic. The first one is that I didn't have enough of the tier 6 modules that I wanted to shove into everything, and that is down largely to a shortage of circuits, which is down to a shortage of copper and also a shortage of circuit building facilities. So I'd quite like to get that fixed as well. I may fix the shortage of copper by putting in another ship that goes out to gear off, and we shall see. But that doesn't explain why it stopped completely. It has stopped completely, and I looked into this in the video, so you'll already have seen this, but I'm going to show you anyway. Because we've stopped getting any sulfuric acid coming through, because we've stopped getting any sulfur coming through, because we've stopped getting any oil coming through. And there's no oil for the fairly standard reason that this oil farm down here is just a bit slow and a bit rubbish and needs some serious upgrades and probably some friends. There's another oil patch down here. I'll probably go down and grab that one, and maybe the one up here as well, just to give me a decent amount of throughput. So there are many problems, but they are all surmountable. And hopefully that'll just sort that out and get things to be a bit more reasonable. This is stopped. Why is this stopped? Oh, this is stopped because that stopped going through because we don't know. Yeah, oil, yada, 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 yada. Okay, right. Is that everything I wanted to go in and beat up in order to get things working? Oh yes, and there was an extra really stupid thing that I discovered that was wrong. So let's fix that before we go any further, because this one's quick and easy to fix. It's just sort of a slight oversight, shall we say. So down here, we've had some issues, and everything's backed up horribly along here, because I didn't put any sort of limitation on the number of Naquium tessaracts we could build. So let's put in a quick and dirty fix for this. It's only going to be a partial fix, because there's another problem that will need to be dealt with later, shall we say. So, yes, the problem is that when this belt fills up here, it doesn't stop making Naquium tessaracts, so everything just then clogs up. So if we link those two together into there, and then we copy... Excuse me? I wish it wouldn't do that. Where are those going to go? Oh, no. Down here somewhere. Oh dear, that's probably going to clog up later. That's frustrating. Anyway, nothing I can do about that right now. So you and you and you all have the same sort of settings. So these are going to read the belt content and hold it. So now the content of these belts goes onto this wire, goes up here. I then want to link that into here, like that. And we say this one, when Naquium tessaracts equals 0, then you can insert. So this will now stop. This will now stop being a silly sausage and work. The problem is we've still got this backup problem here. So if I now come over to here, fortunately I've got a little bit of spare capacity here, so I can do that, and then that's probably enough. Let's have a look. Yes, that's enough. So now all of those arcospheres are now flowing back into the giant stirry system. And spoilers, but I've actually already fixed this about 8 times, because every time I went in to go and do some recording for my this is how you deal with Arcospheres video coming out on Friday. Shameless plug, shameless plug. I came in and fixed this so the system would actually, you know, have some Arcospheres in it and work. So yeah, that's that's sort of for now. So we are now probably at Realm of Shadows. So let's get on with what I was actually wanting to do this stream. Come over here, touch down here, boop, and building frenzy, building frenzy, building frenzy. So this is simply doubling the number of Naquium crushing machines I have in here. To an extent, there's no point in doing any sort of cunning shenaniganery with modules, because I could put speed modules in them, but if you make it twice as fast, then you also make it use more than twice as much power. I suppose I could put in speed and efficiency modules. That would probably be quite good, but to an extent, the cheapest way to make one of these systems run twice as fast is to put twice as many machines down. So yeah, I've just done that. So now we will have exactly twice as much coming through. The only possible risk to all of this is that we might not have enough Naquium being brought in here. So there are a few other little repairs and improvements I need to do. The first one is over here. Right, okay, so over here we have I put in a stacker a while back for when we get lots and lots of trains bringing Naquium in. But then you see what this one's doing. This is obviously complete nonsense. So because of various, well, basically because I don't have a turning point in here. So if I do this from slightly higher up, if I do that and then signal it appropriately, like so, I guess. Yeah, it'll do. Not okay. It won't quite do. That'll do. There aren't enough trains travelling around here. But yeah, so the point was that trains were. Don't chase the train. Silly robots. Right, so the problem was the trains would come in from here, and then there wasn't an easy way for them to get to the stacker, so they take stupid routes. So that's that sorted now. The other potential problem with this is that I don't know if I've got enough trains to keep the now higher level Naquium requirements going. So this, I want to actually set them. Yeah, the maximum trains is set to 4 at the moment, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could set that to 6 and not have any problems. So let's set right, there we go. Let's set that to 6 instead of 4, because there's room for 5 trains in the stacker and 1 in the station itself. So yeah, the trains do indeed like their loop-de-loops. I do not like the trains liking their loop-de-loops, because it's a waste of timey-times. Timey-wimes? Wibbly-wobblies? Timey-wimeys? Something like that. It's a waste of all that stuff. So I want to take that. I want to copy the tiles. I don't want to copy the trains. I do want to copy the train stop names. And I want to have maybe, let's put in 3 more. I also want to put in enough rail for the trains to get into these stations and out of them as well. Out would be good too. Put down the actual stations, please. Thank you. And then a little bit more rail over here. There we go. Room for twice as many trains now. I suppose actually, in hindsight, I should have copied the trains, because then I wouldn't have to do this manually. But never mind. Trains are quick and easy to build. So these will now all be. Hang on. Wait. Hang on. Right. Copy. Paste. 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 Automatic. 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 Automatic already? Good. Okay, so these now, yeah, they're all going to the depot. They're all sitting in the depot, and they should all be fueled. Yeah, they're all fueled up as well, because ages ago I put in a system that's making the rocket fuel using the coal and water. Sorry, no, the copper and water level. So that should be fine. Ah, yes, Peter. No, I don't think the train count isn't the bottleneck yet. I've just doubled the throughput of Naquium down here, so I'm slightly concerned that we might get Naquium throughput problems soon. Or train quantity problems soon. So, I mean, you'll notice this always seems to be yellow, even though a train has just left. So there is another train at one of the other mines somewhere out here, or on its way back, more likely. Oh, it's already arrived. Yeah, so there tends to always be trains going around desperately trying to keep the station satisfied. There goes another one. So at the moment, yeah, these are 2/3 full. So we've got a decent supply of naquitite at the moment, but I want to make sure it stays that way. Let's also, because it makes life easier, put in one of these. No, that's the wrong button. It's how I end up with enormous quantities of red wire as well. Oh, what mode am I in? Map, okay. Right, let's try that again. Let's use some of these random red wires that I've been accidentally building and picking up. There we go. So we've got minus 4,000, 4,100 Naquium. So my hope is that this is actually going to just be able to keep up. We shall see, but my hope is that we'll be able to have enough the trains bringing it in quickly enough, and if the problems get worse and worse, then LTN should request more and more trains, and I think things should be okay. Although we're at minus 5,000 now. That should be enough to be requesting 2 trains. Oh, ding, there we go, 2 yellow lights, so it is requesting 2 trains, and a second one has just left. I wonder if that minus 20k is insufficient. I feel like I'm gonna set that to minus 30k, and with the expectation that potentially we might end up with some trains waiting in the stacker and a train waiting here trying to unload, and that's actually a good thing, because then I won't run out of Naquium. That's my thought, running theory on this. And these trains aren't used for anything other than carrying the carrying the Naquium ore around. So I don't need to worry about myself running out of trains up here. And also there's a fluid train here that can be used if necessary. So so I think that's probably worse. Yes, Naquium density, I've been describing it as incredibly voluminous, and yes, it is. It's ridiculous. You get only 10 per stack. So that's why the trains unload so nice and quickly, which is great. But each train load the train loads don't go very far, and that's why I'm doing the crushing here. Yes, if I transported it all in as Naquium ore, then I get slightly more out because I'd be able to use the what do you call it? Productivity modules for the crushing stage, but I'd have to have 4 times many, 10 times as many. I forget the numbers. 4 times as many spaceships going to carry it all around. So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So that's why I'm already doing those like this. So yeah, you may well be right, Peter, but I thought better to have the stacker and not need it than to need it and have a massive train jam form. So how many trains are we actually requesting at the moment? We've got 4 trains on the go at the moment, which I think is probably a good thing. But yes, I think you're right. The amount of time it takes them to... Oh, there's one actually going into the stacker and using the stacker. See? It's using it. The stacker is now in use. Granted, only one of them, and not for very long, but it was very, very briefly in use. So yeah, it was kind of almost sort of useful in a but yeah, it's mostly there as a safety wasp name. So right, let's have a look at the to-do list. So more trains in Realm of Shadows, done that. Fix stupid train route in Realm of Shadows, done that. Naquium crushing in Realm of Shadows, done that. That is everything I had on the list for Realm of Shadows, so generally pretty happy with that. Down here, that ship has left, so the increased throughput speed seems to have helped a little bit. This belt is not going flat out, that's fine. I don't really care about exactly what speed that's going at. We've got loads of Naquium mining happening here. The supply of acid, these tanks are all full, so that's okay at the moment. I mean, it's possible that we'll start to have acid problems later, given that I've just doubled the throughput of everything around here. But the fact that this system is sitting here idle makes me think we're probably okay. Yes, these are not running 50% of the time. Nothing like. So I think, yeah, that seems to be okay. Oop, suddenly a spaceship. It wasn't quite fast enough because these boxes weren't all full when the spaceship arrived. However, I'm prepared to let that go for now. I think we'll see how that goes. I may decide that actually I need even more crushing throughput. These machines. Oh, all right. It is not happening because none of these have output. I didn't bring any green inserters with me, so let's sigh. We're going to be swapping all of these for white inserters and then coming back and programming them to actually, work. Hang on, why are the the output inserters are doing less stuff than the input ones, so they can be blue inserters. That'll be fine, and then I don't need to worry about programming them. Okay, so I hadn't actually doubled the throughput yet. I'd just come in and put a load of machines down that were... actually, no, I doubled the input throughput for a little while they all filled their buffers up. So that was... It at least helps test the that would explains why there seem to be more trains running and higher demand on the other side. But now, yeah, we definitely need those. And now we'll get a nice little flurry of lots and lots... Oh, no, we won't, because it's all gone already. We'll get a very little flurry of a bit more Naquium coming through, so that'll be nice. Decentralizing is an interesting idea. So, yeah, potentially putting all of the crushers out here and on all the mines. Yeah, it's an interesting idea, and quite a good one. I may consider that for the future, I think. At the moment, I don't want to mess with it because it is basically working. But yes, in the future, I think next time it becomes a problem, I shall do that as part of a bigger expansion. Good thought. Right, I think that is everything I want to do here. We've still got a decent quantity of water, so that hasn't become a problem yet. Well, there's 3 million there, 5.5 there, 4 there, 7 and a bit there, 10 there. Okay, we seem to have quite a lot. Naxxus sulfur iron boxes. Crushers. Yeah, the crushers did have. Oh, there's a problem. Where was it? That one. Fix that. There we go. All the rest of it does seem to be flowing. These machines are all working. They've all got green lights on them now, apart from these ones that are just emptying again. Okay, let's try. Have I made any other mistakes? I don't think so, but then... Oh, and how fast are these belts running now? Are they running flat out? They're not quite, but very, very close. Okay, so if I want to do any further expansion, I think I'm going to have to take Rodrigo's idea about decentralizing the crushing. Oh, yes, that's a good point. There was something wrong with that, wasn't there? Yes, down here. That's a very good idea. I'd forgotten I'd had to dump some in there, because that was ages ago. Take all that out again. Just put that wherever. Are any of these more full than the others? 257, 200, yeah, the top and bottom. Right, okay. There we go. Yeah, good thought. I'd forgotten I ditched that in there a couple of months ago, and then never got around to tidying it up because I'd always been elsewhere. That's running quite quickly as well. But it should all be okay because we've got lots of ships bringing the resources out and lots of ships taking the process stuff away. So, yeah, I think that's all probably good now, and I think it's time to go off and look at the next step, which is going to be... So I need to go to Tulip, but that means I need to go to Norvis orbit first. No. Yes. I need to go to Norvis orbit first in order to pick up the other spaceship, then drop down to Norvis, pick up an enormous quantity of pump jacks, or maybe I can get the pump jacks from space. We'll see, and all the pipes and railway lines and all that sort of other stuff that's required. So, yeah, that's going to need to be need to pick up all of that. Oh, thank you, Calcium. Thanks for the thanks for the subscription. Much appreciated. Right. So right. Let's have a look. So the other thing I wanted to look at was copper throughput. So let's take a look at Gear Often, because that's where the big supplies of copper are coming from. Now this is flowing steadily and hasn't filled up, which is not quite what I was hoping. How much have we got in these? These are these are. Why? That's the proper. Maybe it's just because I've replaced the balancer and there was already out of balance here. Okay, so these are not. This is not being produced as fast as I was hoping it would be. So I was thinking, what if I just put in a second spaceship going out to Gear Often? Would that double my copper throughput? And the answer is no, it wouldn't, because these aren't filling up as fast as they're being unloaded. Okay, great. Hey, person with too many E's in their name. Welcome, and Sopcal as well. Hello. Right. So, okay, I can't fix the copper problem just by shoving in another spaceship here. That's a shame. Are there any more coppery places in my area? No, no, there aren't. Not in the solar system. And I don't want to go off to other solar systems. I'm not going out to Soteria in the Merlime orbit, because that's too blooming far away, and yeah, it's going to take forever for spaceships to get there. Not worth it. Same for going out to places like Broken Mirror and Bumperfield. I don't think it's worth it. I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that I don't have enough copper coming in from there. I could set up additional copper mines on this planet. Wow, I've explored the entire planet. Don't think I meant to do that. I could set up additional copper mines here and just have them dumping straight into this system as well, so these fill up a lot more quickly. But that seems like a lot of effort, and I don't really want to do that. Although I say a lot of effort. Okay, Evelyn, then that's easy enough to say. I say a lot of effort. Putting a load of mining drills on here and piping them straight into here wouldn't actually be that difficult, and it would allow me to get a second ship running with a lot more copper on it. So that's a possibility. Am I actually as short of copper as I think I am? That's another thing that's worth checking. So if we have a look at Norvis, then we discover the answer is yes. Yes, I am. There's only 15,000. Oh, and the iron has backed up. So I've got too much iron and not enough copper. Great. We've got steel being made down here. Do we have a shortage of steel? We've got 50,000. That's not very much steel. Okay, no, it's decent. It's a reasonable amount. Okay, so having this flowing through will use up a decent chunk of the iron, I suppose, in time, but in time is fairly slow. I suppose I could, yeah. I'm sort of resisting using Arco's chests because they're so expensive in Arcospheres, and I've only got about 150 Arcospheres, so starting to use them for transporting mundane resources around feels a little bit wasteful. How much have we got here? 21,000. Okay, there'll probably be a train here any minute. So the next thing I wanted to do was to fix this red circuit production here. So this is stopped because it doesn't have any copper. So I don't know why there isn't a copper train coming in. But one of the things I want to do, um, one of the things I want to do is come in and replace this with a more modern, fully beaconed, highly productivity beaconed setup. So I get through a little bit less copper for that. And maybe do the same with the green circuits as well, because that's going to enable me to get the module production over here in Norvis orbit actually working again, because it ain't at the moment because we don't have any red circuits available. So we need those to start flowing so we can get the module production running so that I can get the extra 400 tier 6 modules I need, and I've got 50 of them so far. So yeah. How many core miners? I typically put down about 6 or so, I think. I think I put down about 6 per planet because that seems like a nice balance between getting it out at a reasonable rate and not having too much of a reduced efficiency because of having too many of them. So yeah, there are some planets like Trelos where I think I've only got 2 pairs of them because Trelos is such a big planet that it produces enormous quantities of core fragments. In fact, these two are capable of filling a belt all by themselves. Is LTN set to max for the pickup? It should be. There shouldn't be anywhere else that's a higher priority. Oh, yeah, some being picked up now, so it probably is. Yeah, 4,000 priority on that one, which should be nice and high. Oh, from other solar systems. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I could have a system on another planet that builds circuits and then dumps them into an Arco chest. That would be an interesting way of doing it. Perhaps. I think probably not though. I mean, I feel like I just want to get more copper landing on more copper like that. Yeah, on Norvis, so I can have this running a bit faster and a bit more efficiently. And okay, so this will now be running again at least until this station fills up, and so we will have a little bit more copper coming through, and things will be okay for a little while. Yeah, I'm assuming the Arco chests or Arco links are basically ender chests from Minecraft, and you put things in at one end. Well, basically, I think I haven't checked this, but I believe they are chests with a shared inventory. So if you have eight inserters putting stuff into them and eight inserters taking it back out again, offered it out of a different chest, then it'll just keep it at that same. It'll just keep coming out at the same rate it goes in. So you'll be able to transport stuff at the speed that eight inserters can go at. I think what I'd probably do if I was going to do this for Naquium, which is the obvious one to use them for, and the one that people keep telling me I should, and I'm sort of subtly ignoring them. um, I've been the way you'd do that. It would be by yeah. I'd probably have say six inserters putting in naquitite, and then one inserter at the other end putting in sulfur and one putting in iron, and then two at the other end taking them out again. So I'd using filter inserters, obviously. So I'd be able to get the other stuff flowing in the opposite direction as well. I suppose yes, that's true. I could use a spaceship going all the way out to other solar systems in order to pick stuff up. I suspect it's probably not worth the effort. Although maybe if it was to an asteroid field, but even then, I'd be the long range ships. I don't really like having them landing in places because I feel like a long range ship is going to be big to have all of the engines on the back. And if it's this big, I don't want to put enough booster tanks in for it to be able to land and take off again because it's going to be flipping heavy. So yeah, I don't really want to. I don't really want to do that if I can avoid it, basically. How far away are we now? 6 minutes. Okay, so about halfway. So the other thing I could say is the only reason I've got this sort of problem at the moment with copper and red circuits and so on is because I'm making an enormous quantity of modules for my naquitite processing. So once that has caught up, it's not going to be a problem anymore, probably, because I won't have that massive drain on the circuit production. So I'm tempted to just sort of bury my head in the sand a little bit. Maybe go in and build up a better red circuit production facility, but basically just go, well, I don't really care. Um, yes, it's going to be a bit inefficient, but I don't think it really matters. Yeah, a lander at the far end is certainly possible. I mean, that is what I'm already doing with the Naquitite in Norvis orbit, transferring it over from the big ships to the small landers. Um, Neither of which I have at the moment, which is interesting. Oh yeah, of course, because all the landers will be stacked up in orbit around Tulip, waiting to land there and start doing things. Um, right. So I think, okay, plan of action for now. I'm gonna get back to Norvis orbit, drop down to Norvis. I'll boost the red circuit production facility and get it moduled up, and therefore much faster and more productive rather, and also faster because I'll use the big beacons. That I don't think will take too long because making red circuits not exactly rocket science. So I think that should be fairly quick. Get that done. In fact, while I'm waiting, let's get the belts down there upgraded to blues already. So I'm part way there before I even get started. I might also put in a station down here for picking up green circuits to take away as well, because I think I could make green circuits and red circuits in the same area. So let's give me an upgrade planner. I want to upgrade from yellow to blue, yellow to blue. What's the splitters? That's the third one. Yellow to blue, and let's do red to blues just in case. Just in case there's any in there that I haven't noticed. Red to blue, red to blue. Okay, this one, go away. Upgrade all of that. I won't go any higher than this for now because I don't know what I'm going to do. I could just shove in productivity modules and everything, but I'm not sure it's worth it. In fact, let's just upgrade all the belts. Then I've got to supply better belts around if I need them for anything. What's going on over here? Oh yeah, yeah, okay. Do that as well. And now I can also whack an upgrade planner across here and upgrade all of the machines to tier 3 machines. That'll be nice. Then there's going to be a lot more room for modules in them. In fact, no, I do. No, I still want to put beacons in to make it go a bit faster. Never mind. Uh, don't know. Asteroid fields are nice because then you don't have to worry about spaceships landing. But on the flip side, having it on planet is nicer because then you can you can start using things like productivity modules, and you don't need to put down flooring everywhere. But you do need, although you do need to deal with cliffs and trees and things, and lakes. Yeah, I wouldn't like to say which is going to be simpler overall. I'd say they both have their advantages and disadvantages. All right, let's have some cake while I'm waiting for the spaceship to arrive. Nom nom nom. Delicious chocolate fudge cake. Right. So, to be honest, I think I might just go in and be really lazy about this. Because all the machines are in the right places. All the belts are in the right places. If I just fill everything up with productivity modules and and then put some beacons in to speed them up, then I think this is just going to work. Yes, we're going to have some of the machines not running flat out because, but I think I'm okay. I'm kind of okay with that. I'll just let this happen, and then I can come down and put in some wide area beacons to just beacon everything up to the eyeballs. So one in here, one in here, one in here, one in here, and so on. And I think that might just work, TM. Obviously, we're having an absolute bot frenzy at the moment. Look at that. Absolute bot frenzy upgrading. Jeez. What are these ones doing? Why are they over here? No, they probably did something over here, and now they're on their way back over to actually do some of this building I'm requiring. Okay, absolute bot frenzy. Oh yeah, you can see all of the roboports because there's little circles of bots parked around them, filling, all charging up again. Oh dear. Oh, thanks, James. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I think there aren't a lot of people who are doing late game space exploration content. The problem is now I'm now playing the old version. I'm officially out of date because Space Exploration 0.6 is out, and that's quite different to this. But it's so different that there's no way I can realistically upgrade mid run through. So I've decided I'm definitely going to get to the point of the spaceship victory. And then I'll decide whether I want to do the Indiana Jones victory as well before I move on to... What's going on down here? Oh, I see. They've decided to put the Tier 1 belts in these boxes down here for some reason. Well done there. So that's a good question, Mike. That's a very interesting question. I mean, good question in the fact that in the way it's an interesting one and something good and something worth thinking about and talking about rather than it's a particularly difficult one. So, So yeah, the 0.6. There's a load of changes in there. The biggest, so the headline one is that he's put in what's the word? Space elevators. So you can drive trains straight from on planet up to in orbit, which is going to be very interesting and is going to replace the need for massive rocket parks like this. So that's quite nice. One of the other things I think I'm going to so that'll be interesting. But one of the things I've been saying I wanted to do if I do another space exploration run, and I say if, it's probably going to be more of a when I do another space exploration run, is that I want to try and minimize rocket use. Because I found that the logistics of shipping rocket parts around, it's a little bit faffy. Now, when it's just a steady stream of rockets going up into orbit, it's not so bad because you've only got 2 points. But for your outposts, like out here on Kothar, for example, Kothar's a good example. Over here, I've got a rocket. I've got a rocket, and Kothar is a bad example because I switched Kothar over to using spaceships. One moment, please. Oh, no. There's too many extra buttons in this game. Right. Hey, yeah, Henk SS we'll do. Up here, I have a set of rockets that take away the holmium, the blue circuits, and the glass that are produced on this planet. And so I also have a rocket landing pad here, which requests rocket parts and rocket pods. And so rockets will come over here automatically, bringing in the parts that are needed to make these rockets to fly off and take the part and take the stuff away. And this is all lovely. However, you've actually got two different things that you need to balance. You've got the rocket parts, which I've got in here as stacked ones. So I've got all of these are packed cargo rocket sections. So each of these is worth 5 when you unpack them. And so you need 20 of these, and then one of these pods in order to launch a rocket. And so, and you get back every time you get back the pod, and sometimes you get back about N% of the rocket components, depending on how much research you've done about that. So the point that I'm sort of trying to get to is you've got the two different things to try and keep balanced, and I've never actually bothered about that. I've just kept chucking stuff out and hoping that it's going to be about right, and eventually this is all going to break. And so I think it'd be really quite interesting to try and minimize rocket use and just use delivery cannons until I get to the point of having spaceships. Now, I don't know whether this is going to work. I may find that actually delivery cannons are just hopeless at the sort of and won't even get me to Astro 3 in order to get to the point where I've got spaceships. But I think it's going to be interesting to give that a try. So that's going to be one of the big changes I make. Another one is that I think I'm going to again try to not have these massive processing facilities on each of the planets. What I think I want to do is essentially concentrate a lot more on core mining and then bring the core chunks off to a central planet, and probably a fairly small one. So in this run through, I think Tulip would be the ideal one for this, because it's not as small. Asalia, I think, is too small, because if we look at Asalia, it's only this big. I don't think I can fit absolutely all of my processing on this moon, but I think Tulip is a good size. So if I cleared out Tulip, got a decent amount of space on there, I could then bring in all of the core chunks from everywhere to that one central place, and then just have everything be done there. So at that point, you've got all of your resources in one place. You're not doing any sort of shipping glass around nonsense, none of that. Just bring everything into one central place, build up as much stuff as you can, and then perhaps have a space station in orbit around Tulip or its equivalent that does all of the science and is only a space elevator away, and therefore I think that would make the logistics a lot easier. I'm not sure whether any of this is going to be true, but I think it's going to be interesting to play the game with that different mentality and trying to do all the processing in one central place, and I think that could be quite interesting. Yes, so that's what I'm thinking. Of course, that's going to be a few hundred hours off, probably. Uh, countless months of playtime off, given how much I stream it. But I think it's going to be an interesting way to look at it and to do things a little bit differently. Other than that, I mean, I think my design of a space base is pretty good. This sort of spine with ribs coming off it with all the different sciences on different ribs. I think I'm very pleased with the basic design of that. I think this has worked really well, because it meant when I was doing the space sciences, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then for tier ones, and well, okay, or orange, blue, no, pink, blue, orange, green, um, on 4 separate ones with tier ones, and then as I expanded and started doing the later sciences, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 could all expand down the same rib, with plenty of room for the machines to be going out this way without them getting tangled up in each other like they did when I first started making the tier 1 space sciences in a jumble over here. And yeah, having the train system like this works really well. But of course, you don't get the trains until you've done, I think it's Energy Science 1. I can't remember for certain, but you need to do. There are some prereqs for getting space trains, so I couldn't really start at that point. But I could possibly have started with the intention of moving out to that point. I don't know. Why not doing it on not doing it on Norvis for two reasons. One, Norvis has a lot of biters on it, and so at least in that sort of level of the game, it's quite difficult to punch out and expand the territory you've got on Norvis, because, well, there's biters in the way and they don't like it. The other reason is because Norvis is quite a big planet and therefore has strong gravity, so it takes a lot of fuel to take off from Norvis. Whereas if we go to Tulip, which is about a quarter of the radius, I think, it takes a lot less fuel to blast off from there. So just generally bringing stuff up into space is going to be much cheaper. Asalia is of course even cheaper to take off from, but it's so small that I don't think it would be big enough, even if I... what am I trying to land on? There we go. It's so small that I suspect even with... even if I paved over every puddle on the planet, I suspect it still wouldn't be big enough for what I would need it for. Right, so have I... Yes, that's quite lucky. I can put this, if I put this beacon here, then it gets both of those. It gets all the machines in both sides of this. What do you call it? Red circuit production facility, like that. It doesn't have any power because back in these days I didn't have the massive pylons. So let's put that there. There we go. It's got power. So I've got the top ones. I haven't got, and I've got some of the bottom ones as well. Okay, so I've got the top I haven't got the... Okay, so I need to put this in then about here. What's in the way? That wire maker. I can't... I could put... this point is harder. I could put it there. It's getting all of the ones on the right. It's getting most of the ones on the left, but not all of them. That's probably going to be alright if I put it there, I think. Oh no, wait, it needs to go there. To get the, those machines. There we go. If I put it there... There, it gets nearly everything. Okay, let's fix these belts. I haven't got all of the green circuit production over here, which is a bit of a shame. But that's done pretty well for getting most of the production around here beaconed up. So what I want to do is I want to fill up all of these with productivity module, prod 3s, because 3s are cheap and I've got loads of them down here on Norvis. Module insert, let's use this. No, not speeds. I want you to be full of prod 3s. There we go. And then I can use the module inserter across all of them. There's 2 beacons in there. I don't know what's going to get put in the beacons. Nothing. Okay. Let's turn my robots off so I don't just use up all the ones in my pockets and let the base deal with the rest. And now over here, basically I want to fill it up with speeds, but I'll probably put in a few efficiencies as well just to bring the power consumption down a little bit. And because I suspect if I use too many speeds, the system is just not going to be able to keep up with itself. We're not going to have enough coming in on the belts for the machines to make enough. Even though I've upgraded it. Dinner was some sort of tomato sauce and pasta and bacon thing. I'm now eating cake because cake. Because it's lying around in the house still from the weekend, so might as well enjoy it. And as ever, yeah. So this is now coming back to the copper problem we saw earlier. So, yeah, we shall see. But my hope is that if I fill all these up with productivity modules, we'll at least get a bit more, a lot more throughput for the copper we're putting in. Well, we must do, and I'm not too worried about the precise balance of the whole system. I don't care if we're not producing the I don't care if I've got exactly the right machines, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I don't mind if it's a little bit out and could be slightly more efficient if I had a couple more or a couple less or anything like that, because I'm just lazy, basically. Alright, that one I do need to put down by hand. There we go. And by hand, I mean by my bots rather than the ground's bots. How our definitions change. This one goes in, yeah, there. There. Okay, and power for that. Okay, there's only limited testing I can do of this while we're going. Oh wait, I don't have any copper, but yeah. Oh, I can check these ones. How are we doing for power usage? Plus 470%. Jeez. Yeah, that's a bit excessive. Let's put in a few more efficiency modules into these. Not that I really care about the efficiency so much, but I care about that plus 32% productivity. And power is pretty cheap down here, I have to admit. We've got it coming in by massive beam. So I don't really need to worry about it, but I feel that there's not actually any use to having the speed that high, because I don't think the belt's going to be able to keep up with it, and I certainly don't think my copper supply is going to be able to keep up with it. And then I was putting them in basically on this belt, wasn't I? Like that. and then the same over here. You'll note that I've run out of productivity modules, even with the even here. So even down here on Norvis, my supply of copper is extremely limited. So let's see how is that doing? Because we're up here, we're making the productivity module 3s. Yeah, there's like 4, 6. We've got 10 of them in the boxes that have been made. Red circuits are coming through quite happily. I mean, I say coming through quite happily. There's a yellow belt of them coming through, and there's plenty on the belt. Plenty on the belt, actually. That's a lot of red circuits. This is where they've all gone. Yeah, plenty coming out of the station, then flooding up the entire bus. But it's still a slow process to make these modules. I suppose I could. Oh no, I already have speed moduled these, and it's just the I don't know what that's limited by. Maybe that is actually limited. Yeah, that's limited by the rate that the red circuits are coming in at. Okay. Well, they'll get there eventually. So we'll take another look at that in a few years once it's finished. So in the meantime, I need to power all of these like that and that. Yeah, these will eventually get moduled up to the appropriate levels, and we'll start making the red circuits a little bit more efficiently. So my task here is done. Now I can start thinking about heading over to Tulip to get some more oil supply. So let's see. In order to go to Tulip and get some more oil, basically I'm going to need to have another one of these, another setup like this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Call it 40 pump jacks. Have I got any pump jacks in here? I probably have. Yeah, I've got a huge quantity of pump jacks. Okay, good. I'm also going to need loads of rail. 179 is not going to cut it. Let's say I want 2,000 rail. That seems reasonable. Bring me some rail. Oh. Alright, bring me some Roboport network. There we go. So that'll bring the rail in. I need some stations. I've got 7 stations. That should be fine. I've got a load of signals. That's probably all right. Got a decent chunk of pylons. Are there any more pylons in here? Only the little ones. Oh, and the substations actually. Yeah. Okay. So I can. Let's get some more pylons, big pylons as well, because these things are cheap, and they're good for stringing out a long cable that goes way across an area. Am I going to need more trains on Tulip to bring the stuff around? So presumably I've got 1 fluids train. That's a solids train. That's a fluids train. Yeah, I think having another fluid train might be a good idea. Any train bits in here? Oh yeah, I can make another fluid train out of that easily enough. Yeah, 1 will be enough. I'm not getting through that much oil, I don't think. We'll find out. Okay, so that's the pump. Oh, pipes. 147 pipes. 600. I've got a load more pipes up there. Let's have some more underground pipes, because you can never have enough underground pipes. I also want some beacons and some speed modules. Beacons I've hopefully still got. Yeah, I've still got 14 of those. Speed modules I've still got. I've got a load of 6s. I don't really want to use the 6s because they're pricey. I don't have any speed modules in here, not surprisingly. Let's turn that back on. I do actually want to have stuff. I'm not sure why it was turned off. Probably because I was doing something weird. That's the usual reason. So let's get all this brought back in again. Get my personal supplies of miscellanea back up and going again. Yeah, here comes all the rail. That's going well. What else do I need? What else do I need for all this? I don't think there's anything else I do need. Because this is going to. I've got the rails to get me out to the place. So I've got the pump jacks to dig the oil up. I've got pipes, tanks. Tanks is another thing I need. I should have a load of tanks though. Yeah, I've got 51 there and another 27 there. That's plenty. Okay, I think I've got it. I think once all these requests are satisfied, then I think I'm pretty good and I've got everything I could possibly need. Hey Daniel, welcome. Thanks for joining the stream. nom nom cake. Yeah, looks like pretty much everything. Another. I might go without waiting for that to fill up, to be honest, because I think 500 is probably excessive, and the 220 that I'm going to have is probably enough. So let's get rid of those requests. My personal inventory, still waiting for some more cargo wagons. Okay, that's fine. So the last 4 are on their way. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's head off to Tulip. Now, I think because these tanks are currently brimming, practically, I think that's going to be enough to take off from Norvis and from Tulip, because Tulip is so much smaller. But we're going to check this. So I'll take off now. And I want to go to Tulip, not Sakimi, Tulip. Let's take off and see how much fuel we've got and whether I reckon. Yeah, there's still more than half, and Tulip's a lot smaller. That's sort of the point of Tulip. So that's great. Okay, Tulip, here we come, and now I can build some more oil supplies and things. My next Factorio series, well, that's a good question. It's one I've put a fair amount of thought into recently, although I haven't actually come to a conclusion, because that would require coming to a conclusion. So my first thought is that it'd be nice and easy. A nice easy answer would be to start a space exploration 0.6 run, and go through and just sort of investigate the differences and try a few of the things that I thought I'd do differently, and see how much faster I can get through the game when I already know what I'm doing and I'm not sort of trying to learn how to do everything the whole way. And I think that could be potentially quite interesting. Another possibility is a space exploration plus Factorio 2 run, which is one that I've been planning to do with some friends once we finished our current Minecraft run for a while. Although I have to admit I'm not quite sure whether I am actually going to finish the Minecraft run, because I'm not enjoying it as much as some of the other things I do. Another possibility would be to investigate Dyson Sphere program, because that's a much more Factorio-y game, and it's one I haven't actually played, so it might be interesting to investigate that. And there's 1 or 2 other games that I think look tempting and potentially interesting. So yeah, the short answer is I haven't decided exactly what the next series is going to be, but I think I've probably got a little while to decide. I think it's going to be at least a month or 2 probably until I get the spaceship victory, which is basically go fast for a long time in a big spaceship. That's probably going to take a month or 2. And then depending on whether or not I go on for the go for the Indiana Jones victory as well, or whether I reckon that I'll do that as part of the 0.6 run, I haven't decided yet. So there are a couple of thoughts in there. Hey, House and Trees, welcome. It's going pretty well. I think I've got lots and lots of problems at the moment, but I'm going through gradually sort of stepping on them one at a time, and that's sort of how Factorio goes. So yeah, I'd say it's good. I have heard of Nullius. So yes, maybe that'll also go onto my list of things to land, please. What's going on? Oh, it's already up. That's why. Derp. Right. You know what? Let's just land where I want to build this thing. That's not what I meant to do. M and then N. There we go. Right. So land here. Bloop. Yeah, Nullius is